Go to ME21N and start creating a purchase order. 4001 for material coffee beans, quantity of 100. And we have created a PO for coffee beans, and we have set the delivery tolerances in the material master. And if you go to the delivery, you should see that the delivery tolerance should be 10%. But I don't see a delivery tolerance here. Why? Because delivery tolerance not just comes from the material master. If there is a delivery tolerance in the purchase info record, that takes precedence over the material master's delivery tolerance. Let's check it for a second. Do you want to save it? No. Go to logistics, material management, purchasing, master data, info record. And for 4001 vendor, this coffee beans, Chicago plant, click OK. And in the second screen, hit enter again. There is a field where you can set the delivery tolerance. What's the delivery tolerance here? 0. So that's the reason why you don't see delivery tolerance in the purchase order for this material vendor combination. What this means is delivery tolerance is not just set at the material master level, it's also set at the purchase info record. Right? So this is given the first preference. And if nothing exists here, then it goes here. You want to see it in action? Let's go change this. Change and set 5% here, 5% here. Under delivery, over delivery. Right? And save it. Now let's go create a purchase order. Of course, for coffee beans, quantity of 100. Do you see a 5% here? That is coming, of course, from the purchase info record that we have just set. Right? So that proves that the first preference is the purchase info record. The data of under delivery and over delivery from the purchase info record gets pulled into the purchase order for that material and vendor combination. What happens if I delete this or if it does not exist? Let's go see it. Do you want to save it? No. Go to flag for deletion, enter, complete info record, purchase order data, doesn't matter, save it. So this purchase info record is deleted. Now let's go create this purchase order. For coffee beans, quantity of 100. Okay. Go put a price, because there's no purchase info record, it's asking me for the price again. If there was a purchase info record, it would have automatically picked it from there. Enter a price of $10. Now go to the delivery, and you see the under delivery and the over delivery tolerances are 10%, which is what we have set here. So we have set to 10% and we have set this to 5%. Remember? Now that the purchase info record is deleted, it's picking up from the material master. And that's why I said the second preference is the material master. If it exists in the purchase info record, it goes there. If it does not, it falls back to the material master. Well, now we know where the delivery tolerances are set, and we also understand what the delivery tolerances mean. Now we just have to see it in action. So what happens when the delivery tolerance is 10%? Let's see it with the same example. Let's order a PO for 100 kilos and set the delivery tolerance to 10%, right? And then we're going to deliver first goods receipt of say 50 kilos and see what happens. And then we're going to say another 40 kilos, which will make it 90, by which point we would have received 90% of the goods, which means that we have achieved the 10% tolerance, and then see what happens. Ideally, the expectation is that by the time we achieve 90% of the goods, the vendor does not need to deliver further. The PO item can be deemed as complete, right? That's the intention. We want to cut it off. We don't need it anymore. Let's see it in action. So the first step, create a PO for 100, right? We have it right here. We created a PO for 100. And we can save this, right? Copy this PO, Control C. Okay, now go to MIGO. It's not a return delivery, it's goods receipt. Against the PO, Control V. So the first lot we are going to receive is for 50 kilos, right? So go select a quantity of 50. So the vendor is under delivering by 50. That's fine. We're going to say item OK, and we're going to receive it into the coffee storage location and save it. Now let's open that PO. Go to the delivery schedule and see the open quantity there, 50. Reasonable, right? Go back. And the second delivery is for 40. So 50 plus 40 is 90. And 90 kilos should come right within that tolerance of 10% of 100. Go do a MIGO again for 40. Goods receipt against the PO. This time SAP has calculated automatically that we need only 50, not 100, right? Because 50 has already been delivered. So it says there's only a provision for 50 more. How much do you want to take? Well, let's say the vendor did not give us 50. He only gave us 40, right? Where? In the coffee bean storage location. Click item OK and save. Now, by this time, the vendor has delivered 50 plus 40, 90 kilos, which falls within the 10% tolerance limit. That means that out of 100, he has delivered 90, which is within 10% of the tolerance limit. So the open quantity should not be 10 anymore because we don't need the remaining 10. We can let it go. If it delivers 100, it's fine. If it delivers 90 also, it's fine. That's what we are trying to say with delivery tolerance. Now we should not see the remaining 10 as an open quantity. 100 minus 90 is 10. And that should not remain as an open quantity because we have set a delivery tolerance of 10%. Do we really see that? Go back. Open the PO. Go to delivery schedule, and we still see an open quantity of 10. Well then, what's the point in specifying an under delivery tolerance of 10%? So we came back to the same shape. There's no point. So how to fix this? Well, in defining under delivery tolerances and over delivery tolerances, in order for the system to deem that PO as complete when the goods received falls within that tolerance, there is a configuration that has to be set. Where do we set that configuration? SPRO, IMG. Go to materials management. And instead of going to purchasing, go to inventory because that's where it is set. And go to goods receipt, set tolerance limits. Once again, you don't have to remember this path. Oops, looks like I went to the wrong path. This is not the right path. Okay, this is the right path. Set delivery completed indicator. Click OK. And then this is by plant. So you can set this parameter by plant. Not all plants need to behave the same, right? So for Chicago plant, we want to set the delivery complete indicator if the delivery falls within the tolerance limit. Okay, so now save it and save it as TR because it's configuration. And then you still see the open quantity, right? Because the change in configuration does not affect current transactions. You got to start all over again. So what do we need to do? Create a PO for 100 quantity and deliver only 90 of them, right? So if you look at the delivery, you should see the 10% tolerance there, which is good. And then save it. Copy the PO. Okay, save the PO. And then out of a quantity of 100, only deliver 90. Well, we could split it up into 50, 40. It doesn't matter though. They're only going to deliver a net of 90. Right? Where? Into the coffee storage location. Click OK and save. So out of 100, the vendor has delivered 90. Now let's go back to the PO and see if based on the tolerance of 10%, right, does the system still show that there is an open quantity of 10? Ideally, it should not, right? So go to delivery schedule, and what's the open quantity? 0. So that means that out of 100, even if 90 was delivered, the system is deeming that line item as complete because the delivery tolerance is 10%. And in inventory management, we have configured the system for Chicago plant so that when the deliveries or goods receipts fall within the tolerance limit, the system says, I'm fine with it. You don't need to deliver more. So let's look at that report ME2L. And for 4001 Chicago plant, see the 9.5 purchase order that we have just created did not turn up as an open order. Why? Because we have configured the system in such a way that when the deliveries or goods receipts reach a certain threshold as defined by the under delivery, the system says I'm good to go. Now, same thing happens with over delivery. Meaning, if we have set an over delivery tolerance of 10%, the vendor can deliver goods by up to 10% more. So instead of 100 kilos, if he can deliver 110 kilos, which is 10% more than what was created for in a purchase order, that's still fine. That's called as over delivery tolerance. And of course, he's going to charge for 110 kilos or 90 kilos in case of under delivery. All right, so that is how you handle shortfall. There were 3 methods like we discussed. The first was marking the delivery as complete. The second was to block that line item. And the third is using delivery tolerances. So this is the third method. 1, 2, and 3. Simple, right? All right. In the next chapter, we're going to talk about another interesting topic called return PO.